TJ Barker, our good friend Zach Sullivan. We are continuing the Survivor series, talking about pushing through challenging times in the mortgage and real estate space. We are just bringing folks who we know are still producing, bringing in purchase loans and things like that, and talking to them about some of the things that they are doing to keep pushing forward. In some cases, thrive. In some cases, stay the same. But either way, survive is a very important thing. So as TJ always says, I have a habit of running my mouth a little bit. This one, I probably will, because at this point in time, TJ and Zach actually work on the same team. So, you know, you guys are going to talk all about what you do, but I want to ask you the questions this time. Does that sound good, TJ?
Perfect.
I dig it. So, Zach, you've done MLO Net success series with us before. This slightly longer format, and you're trying to dive a little bit deeper into what was doing. These, I think, the Survivor series, we're focusing a little bit more on, I guess I could say, the motivation, the inspiration part of it all. Have you found your team is maybe struggling with mindset, or has had to look at things a little bit differently in the last few weeks or month or so?
Most definitely. I mean, to say, hey, everything's great and cherry, would be a complete lie. We're still trucking along. The biggest thing that we're really going through is right now you're having to do twice the work for half the results, but it's going to pay off in about 6 to 9 months. If this market turns just a little bit and we see that little dip in rates, we want to be set in a position to where we can just press the gas pedal and go. So, there's been a lot of kind of coaching and talking about, hey, if things are slow, that doesn't mean you go home and hang out for the day. It means you put in twice the work, because it's going to pay off. But right now you may not see those results.
Now, I know, I've told the story before on camera. You and I met a long time ago at a mastermind in Vegas. And I remember talking to you at that event and subsequently over the years about this concept of, you got to meet a lot of people, got to shake a lot of hands, but you got to take names, numbers, email addresses, connect social accounts, all that kind of stuff. So you can stay connected with these people. So when the right time and opportunity arises, you're the person they think of for their financing. So I wanted to ask you guys, I mean, you do a really good job keeping track of a lot of people, to the point where, you had to start building your team and hiring all these people. So just go back to the age old question. I mean, I'm not going to say what's the best CRM, but I'm just going to say, how are you guys keep track and manage all the things that you do and all the team members and all the contacts? Is there some kind of thought process that goes into that, so that when things shift, you will be the first person to get the messages out there to the right places?
Honestly, we didn't set this up, Zach. Like I didn't like send this to Fisher and say, make this call, but Zach and I were just doing our daily meeting right before we hopped on this. And that's what we were just reviewing, was how are we going to, as we continue to full disclosure, we all know Zach loves to run leads, right? Generate lots of leads. That's kind of my thing right here. And it's becoming a little bit easier because a lot of people are pulling back on their advertising budget instead of increasing it and trying to grab that market share. So we're like, man, with all this stuff, how are we doing it? And that's what we were just looking at, like, creating a functionality and a process that allows us, from the front end through the support team down to the loan officers, where we can see exactly what's coming in, who it's assigned to, make sure everything is effectively worked, right? And automate as much of that as possible. So to answer your question, like you said, there's no one CRM that can do it. There is one CRM that can do it.
We are not trying to sell you guys on the CRM that TJ has.
Right,
but you want to ask him about it,
right? But it's about having a process in place. It's like creating that process, very similar to what we spoke about with Ashley on Tuesday, right? Having that process in place to ensure that nothing is being left behind. You are making every single phone call. You're responding to every single text message. You're definitely ensuring that every opportunity for a sales conversation, whether it is on the phone, by email, Facebook message, in person, line at the grocery store, that you're taking that opportunity right now, because we can't
and
just
somehow getting that opportunity into your world, into your databases, if you will.
Yeah.
So
automation. You got to use the tools. We all have tools that are available to us, whether it's from our company, whether you bought it on the market, you got to use a tool, to keep that and maximize your attempts and your contacts.
Yeah,
And it's got to all be in one place too. I mean, that's the thing, is you can't have a spreadsheet here, somebody's notes here, a notepad down here. It's got to all be in one place that everybody can go to.
Zach, stop yelling at me. Stop yelling at me. Oh man. I think the timing of this conversation just coincidentally just aligns with what I saw Brian Stevens saying this morning on the National Real Estate Post. And thank you, Brian, for giving a shout out to TJ and I about, having people that are in the trenches kind of help you with the products and technology. And, to me, it's kind of a cool conversation because I'm watching you, TJ, move over to work with Zach for that same reason that, Zach knew you specialized in lead generation, technology build outs and all that kind of stuff. And Zach went, just like me, LO on the street, doing a couple deals here and there, to surpassing me and writing tons of loans and having all these teams and all these leads and all these people and being good at tech and systems and things like that. But then he finally got to the point where he's like, man, I still can't do this all on my own and be the CEO of multiple companies. At some point I got to offload this. And, so he brought you on to do that. So Zach, think back to when you were on the street and you're an LO out there trying to make it rain and all the challenges that you had to live through. Man, if you weren't where you're at today with, the multiple Airbnbs and rental properties and overhead and all this kind of stuff, if you're just stripping yourself back to some of these LOs that are watching us right now, that are just trying to get through the next 6 to 12 months, and they're making all these phone calls and they're doing all this stuff, what would you tell them or the people on your team to really focus on every single day? Like, what kind of habits do they need to put in place to make sure that they're maximizing their opportunities right now and for the next 6 months?
I mean, obviously without, going, hey, run straight Facebook ads, build that database. But really, I think right now it is database building. There's no reason you shouldn't be adding 10 to 15 people a day into that database, whether it's paid leads, organic leads, business development partners, small businesses in the area. You got to be able to grow that and then stay in touch with them. Use that automation from the CRM to be able to stay in touch, because when everything turns, if you don't have that database, you're right back at zero. And now you're starting to reach out to people again and you're late. Other people have already been doing that for the last 6 months.
And some people will remember you, but you got to remember that customer is getting chased by lots of people. And the odds of somebody else having a CRM and database game that's better than yours are really, really high. So, you can do everything possible to be the coolest person, but if your CRM or database game isn't even,
Definitely
existent, the other people who may not have as good a products as you, who may not be as cool as you or as local as you or as cheap as you, or all these things we talk about in these LO groups, they're going to win the race back to the client that you've already talked to once or twice, because they're going to keep being in front of them. Right? We sit here and talk all the time about some of these giant lenders and Rocket and all that. And man, I can't believe they went there. I can't believe they went there. You know why they went there? And you know why they keep outproducing us? Because they stay in front of the people that they've connected with. Way better than we do. All the ads, all that kind of stuff. So we can't necessarily compete on that macro scale with them, but man, on our micro scale, we can build out a lot of little things. Now, we didn't script any of this, and if I'm going on the wrong track, let me know. But what are the little things that you guys are doing? We talked about some of the big things. What are the little things, like some of the little tiny tweaks that you guys are trying to implement to put these pieces in place to stay connected with people?
TJ, you want to take that?
Yeah. And I would say it's kind of hard because, again, I've had the fortune of jumping in and taking over or being a part of a machine that Zach has already built. So it's hard to say, hey, this is what to do on a small end from Zach's perspective. But I can tell you from people that I work with in Leads Academy, it is taking time right now. As I said, cost per lead is pretty stable right now. You got to generate as many contacts as possible. And like I said, you can do that organically. You can do it by, getting in Facebook groups, right? And just posting and starting conversations. You can, run paid ads as little as $10 to $15 per day and generate, 100 to 200 to 300, new contacts every single month. And I think most importantly, it's funny, I just saw a Grant Cardone video today, and say what you will about the guy, right? He's obviously ultra successful, right? I know there's different opinions on him, but one of the things he was talking about is that people buy from brands that they know and are comfortable with. You mentioned a few minutes ago, right? Yep. People go, all of us in the industry are like, the Rocket's terrible. It's bad for business. My wife's like, hey, did you just see that new program that the Rocket has? I'm like, look, you're lucky I can't afford the child support right now for bringing that up. So it's staying in front of people and building a brand, that someone's comfortable with. And your brand doesn't have to be we're the Rocket or the lowest. It's, hey, I'm your local lender. I'm here for you. It's a challenging time. Any questions you may have, whether you're doing business with me or not, I'm here to support the local community.
Yeah, like what if your brand was better? I mean, they would prefer to come with you. They just don't see you.
Right.
Many of us make this kind of concept so convoluted and complex. Like, oh, I'm going to put my name on a sports bench over here, and I'm going to drop some money on some shopping carts over there, which I just did, by the way. And again, I did it because I did it for a specific reason, because my competitor was going to do it, and I just wanted to send them a message.
You'll be like, hey, take that on that shopping. Look, this is what I would say right now. If you, as a loan officer, if things are tight, which we all get, right? You can spend $10 a day on Facebook ads locally and push people into your local Facebook group. And let's just say it's 6 months from now, right? So that puts us in what? April, May, 2023.
Yeah. I mean, LO, start thinking about that. You're almost done. You're done. Right. You got to start thinking about that.
Yeah. You've added in and you push these people and you get the leads in and you get them engaged into your Facebook group. That's a local Facebook group. And next thing you know, you have 300, 400, 500, 1,000 people local that know you. And you're using that giver's game mentality and putting out good information, sharing content, sharing things that are going on in the community. Fish, you're the king of this. You built this community right here that we're all in by taking that approach. Where will you be when things start to thaw?
Guys,
right now we're in the blizzard.
This community pays me dividends all the time. And I start thinking like, oh, I don't know what to do here or there. And then I'm like, oh, I know this person. I know that person. I know this. I have this opportunity. I do the same thing with local real estate groups. Where I really struggle is local community groups, because all the LOs are trying to do it. So my tip to you there is, in the community group, be the person that's in, working with the admins, or you become the admin. It's easier to find an admin that's already existing in a group and partner with them and help them make the group better than it is to start one fresh these days. But if you jump into a group where there's like 20 LOs that are influencers, it becomes red water. It becomes.
That's why you start your own. Go into the blue ocean.
Yeah, start your own community group that has some cool stuff to go. I have a couple that I run, but mine are smaller. They're like little beer clubs and things like that. But there's all kinds of those places out there where you can make cool connections. I made some really cool connections to a local police officer. Now he's running for office, and it's really cool because I'm his guy and he knows all these people. And I'm like, hey, so I'm going to go buy, food for his police department in Ann Arbor in a couple of weeks. So it's like all these little opportunities that started out in a Facebook group, and it
grows fast.
Yeah,
it grows real fast. Yep.
So, all right. I know that Fish, you and I have done most of the talking because, again, Zach's on life support. So, but we appreciate you showing up. We're coming up to kind of our 15
minutes. We know his story, so we're like telling his story for him.
right. So it's kind of like a tag team thing here. We got a whole wrestling theme going, right? So seriously, Zach, we appreciate you joining us. But one thing to leave the community with as we wrap this up, we've talked about database marketing. We've talked about the importance of continuing to market in this current environment. So when, I liken it to I think actually maybe Rene Rodriguez in an interview we did, Fish, at the beginning of COVID, he likened to this as a blizzard, right? We're in the blizzard now, but when things start to thaw, there's going to be so many opportunities. So we're in the blizzard and we're just collecting, data and names. So when it does start to thaw, you can take advantage, or we can take advantage of it. But Zach, just one thing, if you did have to start all over again today, in this environment, what would you do to survive for the next 3 to 6 months?
One of the biggest things that I've been telling my team is, if you have an opportunity at a loan, don't lose that loan. So for instance, if you've got someone that that's coming in, they're going to buy and they qualify, do whatever you have to do, go up and above to make sure that that client is wanting to work with you, make sure you're taking care of that client. Because realistically, not only are they alone now, but we all know that if rates drop, they're going to be alone again in 8 to 10 months. So, I know a lot of lenders out there are hurting on pricing. Do what you can do to get that loan closed. But make sure that you're meeting and spending the time and giving every client the time to make sure that they're going to stick with you. Because if they're shopping and they leave you, realistically, you didn't lose just one loan, you just lost two.
Awesome. Yeah, you nailed it. You definitely lost two. So cool. And I would just add, and this is a touchy subject for some people, but if you're a lender and you have access to bond programs right now, take advantage of them. Yeah. Right. In a lot of cases, the rates are, if you go, like I know here in Maryland, and I know in Delaware, you can utilize what's called the base rate program. So they're not getting any assistance, but the rate is extremely competitive. And oftentimes you're able to go ahead and outprice your competition by utilizing one of those programs. When the market's great, you don't need to worry about the bonds, but if someone qualifies, take advantage of them. Separate yourself from your competition that can't do it.
Definitely.
And even if you don't do them, make sure you know everything about them and have a person that you trust that does them. Because if it's the best product for the person and you send them to that person that you trust, they'll probably send you something back in return, a deal that they can't do. Don't let that person, like Zach said, go away to another lender. Because even if you don't get two loans, you just got one, because send it to your buddy and he sent you a deal back with the product or state that you had that they didn't have. At least you didn't let that opportunity walk out the door. So I'm going to add in that concept of making sure you network, just like we're doing here, with as many LOs as possible, so that you're not missing opportunities because of products that you don't have.
Cool. Awesome.
Definitely.
Good stuff, Zach. Man, we really appreciate you. I truly do hope you feel better.
So, yeah, I appreciate it. I'm getting there.
And kind of survive. I'm
going to close this out. I'm going to put you on the spot, Zach. I mean, are you going to make it down to our VMA Summit, VMAsummit.com, for those of you trying to figure out where this event is at? You're not going to be able to make it, are you?
I am not. I literally have slept in my own bed 4 nights out of the last 22 days. So, and then I got home and I've been in bed sick for the last 5. So I think if I leave again, my wife might leave me and take my kids.
No, let's not do that. So, all right, we'll just have some of your team tell you how it went, and you can go watch the video replays at a later date and all that kind of stuff. So,
deal.
Cool.
Hey, Fish, guess why I can't be there?
Because you don't travel ever. You're terrible. You're terrible at traveling. I'm terrible at technology. So, all right. So next week, TJ is going to be hosting this. I may pop in from the hotel on Tuesday. I'm not going to be here on Thursday. So TJ, you got the con, you got the reins. We'll get some great folks talking to you. I'm most likely going to pop into MLO Net Live later today or tomorrow and talk about all the year-end things that are going on with different organizations and Leeds Academy, Veteran Mortgage Advisor. I'm hosting a call with Scott Groves and Barry Habib next 2 weeks as well. I want to talk about all the different things that we're doing to try to help the community and to just try to keep you all as informed as we can without taking too much of your time. So get back there, get back to calling the clients, put them in your database, asking for the business, all the things we're talking about. Hopefully we're inspiring you. Share with a friend, get them connected, make connections yourself, and let's do what we can to support each other. Thank y'all.
Definitely. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Zach. Appreciate you, buddy.